some very shocking and interesting news coming from this visit that happened according to some people. And a lot of these political commentators, or I should say royal commentators, they are claiming that yes, indeed, this trip or this visit happened. But we will discuss about that in a second. What we now have is something that will, I don't know if this will surprise you, shock you, but something I think, at least for me, I was expecting it. And what is that? So let's go one by one of this whole situation that unfolded. But I want to start off with this particular article. Analysts assert that Harry's recent return was driven by a desire for reconciliation with his father, King Charles III, rather than being focused on his wife, Meghan Markle. How many of you believe that was the case? I think Harry did want to reconcile with his father because that way he can make a lot of money. He can get a lot of money from his father. He would not reconcile with his father-in-law though, because that man, he's broke. He doesn't have money for Harry. So for Harry, it is not really about family or father or the reconciliation, things like that. It is all about what is in it for me for the long term. And of course, Meghan pushed him to go ahead and do this meeting because that way she can become more relevant. She's not relevant at all with the Hollywood community or the Manchester show community. She's not relevant anywhere, but she can definitely use this kind of visit, so-called visit, to her own advantage and sell her product. Who knows? Analysts argue that the Invictus Games, a project of significant value to Harry, was overshadowed by the couple's personal search for royal reconnection, resulting in a launch event that felt lackluster and missed its primary goal of attracting corporate sponsors. Corporate sponsors, they're not interested in Harry's Invictus Games anymore, and we've discussed about how Boeing is trying to withdraw their sponsorship from the Invictus, and this time I'm pretty sure Boeing put a lot of pressure on Prince Harry not to overshadow this whole thing with his personal drama. Royal commentators suggest that the couple's recent public moves are driven by professional and personal desperation, including financial pressures following legal challenges rather than purely emotional reasons. So again, they suggest the couple's recent public moves are driven by professional and personal desperation. Of course, as I said, this is what the royal commentators, other people online and offline, they agree that this is exactly what is happening. They are desperate. Royal commentator emphasized the contrast between their current desire for access to the royal family and Meghan Markle's absence during significant events like King's coronation, suggesting this inconsistency impacts how they are perceived by the public and members of the royal household, including Queen Camilla. Public doesn't see her relevant anymore. She is out there just to destroy the monarchy, to smear them. That's it. She did not appear for the coronation of the king. Why would she suddenly do this time? The coronation was even more important, right, than anything else in recent time for the royal family. But then she was absent. Well, at that time, she was like, yeah, I'm going to make a name for myself. I'm going to start a business and become a millionaire overnight, so I will never need them. So yeah, I'm not going to go to the coronation. F it. And now all of a sudden she's seeing her business is just tanking every day. She's going bankrupt and like, oh, no, I think I need them. I'm not making money. Royal commentators conclude that while the king may be moved by personal sentiment, the couple's long-term strategy remains under heavy scrutiny due to their past actions and the transparency of their motives. They have only one motive, and that is steal, take, grab, and trash. Okay, that's pretty much what sums up what they are up to, what is their motive, and all those things. Now, sources also suggest that Meghan was searched before entering to meet King Charles. She was also made to walk alongside or behind Harry for security reasons. Her every move was monitored. There is still no evidence, though, that this visit actually took place. And the reason for that is because we do not have any photo evidence, no video evidence, nothing. Therefore, as I said in the beginning of this video, a lot of people, they are absolutely suspicious whether this visit took place, and there is this online conversation going on about the whole situation. I want you to take a look at this one.
Where Thomas Markle is still rehabilitating, having begged his daughter publicly for a visit or a phone call. What possible excuse could these two have, Meghan in particular?
Saturday, I have a new boyfriend, and I said, that's really nice. And then the next call was like, he's British. And I said, well, that's really nice. And then eventually the third time around it was like, he's a prince.
Thomas Markle, he's due to turn...
So again, he is not going to be discussed. He is not going to be someone who will get a visit. The king, King Charles, he was not desperate for a visit from Meghan. It was actually Thomas Markle. He wants to see her because he's very, very sick. He's very, very ill. I believe he lost his limbs. He is now living in Asia, I think in Philippines, or I do not know if he's living in Mexico or he moved back to the States. I do not know. But if there is one person who deserves a visit from Meghan Markle and Prince Harry, that will be Thomas Markle Sr., not the king. Yes, of course, you show the children to the king. He deserves it. He has all the rights to see his grandchildren, surrogate invisible. But you need to actually bring them first to Thomas Markle Sr., who is really struggling pretty bad.
80 next year, and as we know, he's not been a well man recently, and indeed it was a brush with death just last year that renewed his plea for reconciliation with his daughter Meghan, or Meg.
Yeah, that is another point. He pleaded, he wanted, he said it. King Charles didn't. King Charles was not begging Prince Harry to bring over the grandchildren or to meet him. In fact, he doesn't have a time. He doesn't have the schedule, empty time slot for him to meet Harry. Harry forced it himself. And if you do not know, Meghan actually called, according to many sources, King Charles and told him before the meeting, she told him, your son is very depressed, he's very sad, he's just going to be collapsing very soon, and he's going to lose it, so he wants to meet you with his children. Please allow him to meet. So he had to, the king had to make some arrangement for that. Can you imagine Meghan not doing it for Thomas Markle Sr.? Of course you can, because she would never call her father. She would call the king because the king has money.
And her husband, Prince Harry.
I called, it doesn't work anymore, and there's no address I can write to, so I have no way of contacting my daughter.
This, of course, was the letter.
They don't even know, Thomas Markle Sr., how the kids look like, number one. Number two, I think she would definitely hide a lot of information from him, personal, private information about the children that he should know, he deserves to know as a grandfather. But definitely none of those things are happening. I have some comments here, guys. Thank you so much for your comments. If you can leave those in the comment section below, I really appreciate